Yeah. I remember watching an older interview with Fresco Trey, and he was saying that if he makes 3 songs in a week, he makes sure like all 3 of them are different genres, so that he feels like he's like expanding his like toolbox when he makes music. And I was just like,
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, obviously they don't all come out, but he was saying something
Right.
along the lines of that. Yeah, and I was just like, wow, that's
Yeah, everybody's got different mentalities on that. I do think that's useful. It depends on like what you like to do too. Like if you're doing it for, if you're doing work for hire for other people, that can be super useful. Um, I mean, in general, it can be useful. Like if you have a fan base that's receptive to it.
yeah. I feel like there's some artists that go that route, and it almost splits people because I feel like
That's what I'm getting at.
MGK as an example, even though he's big and obviously
Mhm.
he's fine with
I
whatever
know
he's
what you're
making,
gonna
like
say.
he's
Yeah,
but
some
but
people
yeah,
were
but
like
he like
there for the rap shit,
yeah, and then
and
they're
some
like
people
pissed
are
off
only
now that
there
you're
for
going on tour and you got new
pop
stuff.
punch. Yeah, I know. That's kind of like what I was going back to, or what I was saying is like sometimes like that's kind of what people want from you, and I feel like there's a lot of people that like turn their back on what like instead of doubling down on what made you successful, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool, but nah, I'm gonna just go do something completely different. A great example is the dude that made the song $1 Million Baby.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then he comes out with, I mean, that song obviously was gigantic, right? And then
yeah, massive. And then
he
he
comes
switched
out
it
with an
up
album
completely.
that sounds nothing like that.
Yeah,
And it's like, you just, what?
you gotta
Yeah, and I mean,
you
it's
gotta go
like,
the four bats route where every song sounds exactly the same as the first hit. Did you listen to that the four bats? We had that
uh-uh,
like
I'm not
it was
familiar with
like the
this.
day that it got like really viral on TikTok,
Yeah, okay.
and then he put out a project,
Yep,
and it's like this dude that's in a mask. You don't really know his identity,
yep.
and like you could have played that track list through, and you couldn't tell me like where the songs stop and end because they just all
Oh,
sound like
yeah,
the same,
what you're
the
saying.
same
Yeah.
song.
And you don't
But
have to be like that, but like, at least like keep it in the same like vein, you would think, because it's like, man, you just had something that went like mega viral. I don't know. There's a middle ground, but because it's like obviously there, and then there's like part of it too where it's like, I guess this is almost a side topic, but like some people are like super worried about like how much substance, like how deep something is versus just like how surface level shit is, or yeah, I mean everybody's got their take on that, but I don't know.
yeah,
For me personally, it's like I like making stuff that's like is catchy like on the forefront, but then if you like actually listen to it, it has depth. Um, yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Well, because you gotta make it so that I think the problem with like the really deep or the really intricate music stuff is it sometimes for a lot of people will limit the situations in life when they'll listen that's that kind of music.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like Eminem, like I used to listen to Eminem 24/7, but like now there's like a lot of situations in life where I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't listen to Eminem during this because it's just
Yeah,
it's not an
It's like-
easy listen. You want to like listen
yeah,
to the
I
words.
agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I feel like once I finally actually started having a little bit of success, like the last couple years, I took a huge step away from initially like I used to always just like sit and like write stuff down. Like I would take a beat and like write an entire song. And now when I'm writing, it's literally just here in my studio, and I come in with nothing. Very intentionally, I come in with nothing, and I will take songs and just be like, a, how does this make me feel? And then try and do something called top lining off of that. So it's basically just like for all my chorus melodies, I literally will just like sing melodies or like start like singing just gibberish, and then I'll take a word here and then I'll be like, oh, okay, and then that makes me think of something, and then it's like, okay, cool, and then I'll like a lot of times I'll write like I'll try and come up with one really solid line and then work backwards from that and then build the entire song out from that. Um, but like it to me, it's like it has a lot more to do with like I think the word is called phonetics, just purely based on like how it sounds initially to grasp your attention, and then like you put a little bit of depth into it if you're willing to listen to it multiple times. That's kind of like
Yeah.
my entire approach now. But because like I totally agree with what you're saying. Because like there's certain stuff that I'm like the same way where it's like I used to listen to as a kid, and then now it's like you have to be in such a specific mood to listen to certain things that it's just like okay, I don't know.
Yeah. What led you to that approach of creating music in that pattern of top lining? I've seen a few different artists. Like I think Connor Price does it, and I know Mike's very much so like that, where
Oh
he
yeah,
like goes in. Yeah.
definitely. I'm not really sure. It's just like it just started to feel better. Like that's honestly the the best way I can describe it. Where it was like you want something that's obviously like the whole to me the whole goal of making songs is something that like sticks in your head, but then you're getting something from it. Um but like initially, like to be able to find like the pocket that a certain song has, like to me really the only way you can do that is by top lining. um just like figuring out like the right melody, because if you go into something with like a preconceived like I want it to be do 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 whatever, right, it's like you're really stuck on that, versus if you're just like messing around, you can kind of find where the pocket is, excuse me. And that's like super important in my opinion with songwriting, just like finding the because like the other thing too is it's like there's certain songs where it's like I've written songs and I kind of like forced a certain like thing into it, and then by the end it just doesn't feel right. Um and if you just kind of like let the song take you where it wants to go, I know that's like some hippy dippy shit, but like it,
No, I
it's
get what you're
kind of
saying.
like
Yeah.
that's just like my approach to writing now, because it's just like it just feels better.
And when roughly, if you had to guess, was like the song or cluster of songs that you started taking that approach with it?
um I would say when I started writing in like the end of 2022 and then started releasing those in 2023, I would say is when I kind of started writing more like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
And that, so I don't know how much like is missing backwards on Spotify, I guess, but I just know I looked at
A bit.
22, I think it was 22, 23, and 24,
Yep.
and it was like
I have a couple songs in like
18 songs a year. But that's like
something
not
like
including
that.
the projects. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
I think well basically what it was if you want to go like I'll go back like a ways. I when I was like in my early 20s, I released like 3 or 4 projects from like 21 to 24.
mhm.
I think I released like 4 projects actually in that time. And then I took a break doing music for quite a while because I met my wife, and then we had our first kid, and then I was just like broke at the time. And so I kind of put music to the side. And then I was doing I had a different business. I was owned a spot fixing phones actually, and I just wasn't doing music that much. Like I was trying, but it just like wasn't going anywhere. And then I was kind of like letting it slip, and then in like 20, I think it was 2020, 2019, 2020, something like that, somewhere right in that range. Um, I kind of had like a midlife crisis, and I was like, "Yo, I need to get back into this," because I'm just like I was missing it bad. And so then I just like started going real hard at it again. Um, and then the first thing I released out of all that stuff that I was making then was in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
What what was there like a song you heard from somebody else, or what kind of drew you back to where you were like, I need to get back to doing this?
Um, Honestly, I don't remember. I think no, I don't think so. I think it actually really had more to do with like me and like my personal life where I was at, because like I was kind of getting burnt out on that business. Um, it made pretty good money, but it was just like a never ending like grind of just like monotonous like yeah, I just didn't love the business, and I didn't love like I'm like obviously super creative, and I wasn't I wasn't scratching that itch at all, really. And it was more of that. And then it like also was like I was mad at myself for quitting, because I was like, if I would have just kept it going, I knew how good I was at like the business aspect of running a business, because I had kind of proven that I could do that and do it successfully. And I just felt like if I would have kept going, I would have been a lot further along. But obviously that's hindsight's 2020, and I didn't know at the time. But